Hello everybody, Leo Joss here and Iron Lady Vita. I'm going to make a video game review today and I'll be talking about Wolfenstein Youngblood. I bought it actually when it came out last year as a downloaded version for my Nintendo Switch because I was really hyped about it. I was really crazy about the new Colossus, which I also played on my Nintendo Switch, and I actually have the cartridge. And in the second time around, I don't even know if it was possible to buy it as a physical media. I guess it was possible, but I was so hyped about the sequel to the new Colossus that I couldn't wait. I was traveling with the circus. We were in some small towns where they didn't have any game shop and stuff like that. So, on the other hand, I had the internet. So I said, man, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to download it. So I downloaded it. As I do with a lot of games, I pick them up when they come out. I play them for a few minutes. And then for some reason, I don't complete them. And then several months or even years later, I get back to them and I manage to complete them. On one hand, that might be the problem of the game. And on the other hand, it might be the problem with me. That's just the way I am. So, going back to the actual period when I did play the game, meaning a month ago, I started it and boy, it was so difficult. It was so difficult. The first level, especially the first boss, for me it was so difficult. And the whole concept with having certain strengths for the armor of the enemy and then needing to keep an eye on your twin sister all the time, that was really hard for me also. But as soon as I watched the tutorial and I had a little bit of a problem with the controls. I think that was, so I'm not going to blame it on the game, I'm going to blame it on me, because I just got off Bulletstorm that I played. I really enjoyed that one, and my instinct was prepared for a certain controller type movements and stuff like that. And in Wolfenstein Youngblood, it was a little bit different with changing of the weapons and yeah, it was a more complex game, I might say that. The graphics were amazing, same as the new Colossus. I might say this one was a little bit too open-walled for my taste. You could easily get lost in too many side missions. So I basically just played the main story because that's what I was after. That's what really attracted me in the very beginning to the whole Wolfenstein concept. I was crazy about the story. It was really giving me that feeling of, let's say, I mean it in a good way, a cheap 80s B movie with all the Nazis and the alternate reality where they win the Second World War, and a little bit like The Man in the High Castle. It's more or less the same principle. And I just love William Blazkowicz, the way he plays the part and everything. I would even love to see Mariusz Pudzianowski, the strongman, playing Duke Nukem, and even have a version with him playing William Blazkowicz. Yeah. And I even have the figure. I mean, wait. There he is. I mean, this is how much I like Wolfenstein. Yeah. So, of course, my favorite weapon, it's getting down and dirty, close and personal, using the axe, killing Nazis with that. I don't know, for some reason, even though that is the weakest weapon in the game, when you go close to your enemies, you hit twice or three times their armor and it gets off, and then you can easily kill them. On the other hand, when you have the stronger weapons, you go guns blazing, it takes you a while until you manage to defeat them. And yeah, I watched a few tutorials on how to clear the game, but I might say the guys who did the tutorials, they were cheating because they had unlimited ammo and health and everything else. So they were just going through the game for, but I actually managed to complete the game, and I might say it's exactly like a TV series. It gets better with every mission that you manage to accomplish. And by the end of it, I might say that it's not as fulfilling. I mean, I'm going to talk spoilers also because it's an over 1 year old game and everybody knows, unless you're me, how it ends. Okay, so it was a very fulfilling ending for New Colossus. On the other hand, in Youngblood, it's a very open ending. It really gives you the space for a sequel. I loved that William Blazkowicz got back in to the game. Yeah, every boss has its own weakness that you need to play a few times until you get it. And yeah, it was a good game. It wasn't as good as New Colossus. Also the story, I had a little bit the feeling the same as I had with Force Unleashed. The first one you could have easily done a 2-hour movie, but the second one you could have only done a TV series episode. And it was the same with this one. The story wasn't as beefy as New Colossus. But nonetheless, good game. I played over 20 hours, because I like to get all the ammo and everything. I rarely got into the catacombs to get weapons and stuff like that and ammo. I was getting everything in there. I was expecting to complete it a little bit better. I only completed the game 53%. That must have been because I mainly only played the story of the game. I didn't go to the side missions. But yeah, it was a good game. What can I say? Right now, I started to play another game, which I bought, a long time ago. I think it was like 6 years ago, exactly when it came out. I mean, this is crazy. Um, I paid the full price for the game because I pre-ordered it on PlayStation 3. Alien Isolation. I was just crazy about the story that I've seen in the trailer and everything. For some reason, I didn't play it because I had an older PlayStation 3 that I bought in a car boot sale. But it was working really, really well. The problem was that for some reason, maybe because I started out my gaming career with Nintendo consoles, I feel better pushing Nintendo controllers. I don't know why. So for that reason, I didn't play it. And finally, we have Alien Isolation coming out on the Nintendo Switch. So I paid again for it. I mean, how stupid is that, right? And yeah, now I'm in the first level. I did a mistake of trying to play it chronologically. I started with the Helen Ripley version of the game, which normally that's the way it's supposed to be, but that's just like an extra that you need to play once you finish the Alien Isolation, because if you, as a newcomer into the game, if you start playing the prequel, which is the first Alien movie, you're going to be overwhelmed by the complexity of the objectives and the missions. And that's what it happened with me. I got some good advice from my good friend Nandor Petrushka, Varadi from Hungary. And yeah, I started to play the game. I'm right now in Sevastopol station. It's right the beginning of the game, basically. But yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. The whole atmosphere of the game is great. I don't know if I will be able to play the game once it gets really tough, because I'm just losing my nerves when it gets too difficult, and I heard this one is very difficult. But hey, I'll try to get through it. I'm playing on the easy difficulty. Mainly, I play games for the story. You know, I play games for the story. I want to find out, you know, expand on the universe that the movie created and find out more things about everything else. But yeah, it happens also that I play games just for the sake of playing a game. And I might say, you know, I'm just talking about the games that I have played in this quarantine period during the lockdown. And that would be the sequel to Slain, Back from Hell, Wolfaris, which is an absolutely amazing game. I didn't even bother to read the small text that creates some kind of a story. Just the feeling, the retro look of the game, and yeah, it keeps you motivated. I might say that it was the best game that I played in this lockdown. It just kept making me coming back for more. And I was coming back for more and more and more, you know, and it was, when I completed it, I absolutely felt that I achieved something. Yeah. So yeah, make sure to play that one. It's right now together with the spiritual prequel, because they're completely different, but they're only similar in the retro style of the game, and paying homage to the old 2D scrollers and stuff like that, like Castlevania, Contra, and games like that. So you can find them both for $15, if I remember correctly. Uh, and yeah, they're two great games. I finished both of them, and they are two great games. Uh, as I got in, I was talking also about Bulletstorm. That was also a pretty straightforward game, which I also completed during the lockdown. Pretty simple kind of game. Again, it gives you the feeling of a cheap B movie. You know, you have a small plot point in the beginning, and then you just go guns blazing through the whole very well diverse levels. I might add that, you know, it had really, really well diverse levels. I just loved it, and I would have loved to see a movie out of that. You know, every time I watch a game, I'm trying to imagine how it would fit in as a 2 hour movie. And yeah, it definitely works. And especially, I only played the Duke Nukem version. I just love Duke Nukem. I think he is like an alter ego of Ash Williams from the Evil Dead trilogy and the TV series. They just talk the same. And I think they're both badasses. So it really gives an extra to the Duke Nukem. The Duke Nukem thing gives an extra to the game. And I'm really sorry that they're not able to create a really good Duke Nukem game, because I want to see him saving babes and killing pigs, alien pigs. But yeah, this is the next best thing. It's like a side mission of Duke Nukem. So yeah, I hope they're going to make a sequel to all of that. It's a Polish game studio, if I remember correctly. Hey, you know, they've done a really, really good job. And, you know, they really proved that good games can be done all over the world, not only in one part of the world, because it slowly becomes like a dogma, you know. Only there you can get the good games. No, there are talented people, talented artists all over the world, and the important thing is for them to get a chance at it, you know. And I think Bulletstorm is just an amazing game, you know, straightforward. When you feel like, you know, blowing out some steam, you know, it's the same like going into the gym. You don't need to calculate important mathematics and stuff like that. No, you just go into the game, shoot. If you encounter a boss, that's a really cool thing. If you encounter a boss, you get unlimited ammo, which is really cool. On the other hand, you don't have unlimited ammo when you're going through the level, which is also very cool, because it makes a certain difficulty. But when you're with the boss, that's really cool, because you don't need to start again. And yeah, it really has a cool balance of checkpoints and how much ammo you find, and it's a great game. And yeah, man, I mean, there I am. I wanted to talk about just Wolfenstein Youngblood, and I ended up talking about mostly all of the games that I completed during the lockdown. But right now, I'm not playing that much anymore, because I've completed the first volume, the first draft of the first volume of the book I'm writing. And I just started the second one yesterday. I think it's going to be a duology. I'm going on the same principle like it was with the Matrix trilogy. I really think that the Matrix could have been a duology, and it would have ended in real strength, the whole franchise. well, they wanted to go the other way with the trilogy because trilogies are so amazing, you know. Star Wars is a trilogy and it needs to be a trilogy. That's also the mistake that they did with The Hobbit. They stretched it out so much because they wanted to do a trilogy because there's more money into it, but it felt stretched out. It wasn't enough of a story to make a trilogy. And it was the same with The Matrix, you know, they just put in more fights and more action sequences and they didn't have enough of a story. So they could have done just one movie out of the second and the third and it would have been fantastic. Yeah. So I hope I'm doing the same thing. I initially wanted to do a trilogy for the same reason because I love trilogies, and at the first point of view it's more normal to have it as a trilogy, but I think that the ending of the second part of the trilogy works very good as the intrigue, as the plot point of the second one. You know, in that way it's going to be a duology. But I'm still very, very far away from completing the story. I'm doing changes to it as I go along. And that's the magic of writing, you know. You can't get stuck into a certain idea if you feel that it doesn't work, you know. So, yeah, I'm planning something really, really interesting. I'm going to put it up on my channel. Make sure to check that out. It's a teeth hanging video and it's going to be also blindfolded. I'm not saying anything else, but I really think it's going to be really, really exciting for all of you guys. So fingers crossed that that one will go well, and catch you again very, very soon. One shot, that's all it counts.